back to Mindfulness Mondays. My name is Miss Jenia, and over the course of the next few months, I'll be taking you through a variety of different arts and crafts activities. And so today we're going to make something called stress putty. It's a little bit like slime in that it's stretchy, and it's a little bit like Play-Doh in that it's soft, but it's not quite either of those things. So I have all of my ingredients laid out here, which I will go over with you before we actually get started. So to start with, you're going to want 2 bowls, one larger one and one smaller one. You're going to want some cornstarch, food coloring if you haven't. If you don't, that's okay too. It's just going to make it bright and fun. Some borax, which you probably have somewhere in your house. Some glue. We want the white glue, not the clear glue if possible. Also looks like this in the tiny bottle. Some water, right from the sink, nothing special. And then if you have it as well, I have some essential oils. This one smells like lavender, but only if you have it, just something to add for fun. And then last but not least, some of your measuring cups and spoons. There will be a little bit of math today, but nothing too hard. All right, so to get started, we're going to first use our water. And what you want to find is a 1/4 cup. So this little dude right here. And we're actually going to heat it up over here on our stove, or if you have a hot plate. So for this step, just make sure you have an adult around to help you. We want everyone to be as safe as possible. So I already have my stove turned on, just so we can get it going a little bit faster. So be really careful, right? We don't want to touch the hot surface. And we just want it to boil a little bit. It doesn't have to be crazy hot, but just a little bit. It'll come into play a little bit later, right? So while that's heating up, I'm going to take my big bowl, and we are going to put about 1/2 cup of glue, or this is a 4-ounce bottle, so if you have a little one of those, it's the entire bottle. If not, get out your measuring cups again, and we're going to use 1/2 cup. All right, so bear with me while I pour it out. You want to fill it up to that 1/2 cup all the way. Takes a minute. All right. So it all goes in my bowl. The entire 1/2 cup goes in my big bowl. And I'm going to use my finger just because it's easier to get out all the glue that I can. You're going to have a little bit left, but that's okay. So you want to put all your glue in there. Going to have a little bit of sticky hands. And that's the name of the game in arts and crafts. So, right now I have all my glue in my big bowl. We're going to move on to our second ingredient, which is cornstarch. Alright, so I'm sure you may have that around a lot as well. Some people use it for tortillas, some people use it for cornbread, right? It's just a powder. So going back to our measuring cups, which have a little bit of glue in them, we're going to use 1/4 cup. And it just got all over the counter, which is okay. So try to fill it up as much as you can. It's kind of like baking. You want it to be as flat as you can, not like a heap, right? This is flat. So then I'm going to put all of my 1/4 cup of cornstarch in my big bowl with my glue. All right. So I have it all in there. Next, all you're going to do is stir it together. So what you want to do is make sure all your cornstarch is mixed into the glue. So you shouldn't see any more lumps or any more powder once it's all mixed in. So keep that going. And as you can see, my water is already hot. Hopefully yours is getting there. Alright, I'm getting close. So alright, I'm putting a little bit on the side. I'm going to have a little bit on the shirt. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So you can see that it's still creamy, right? All my cornstarch has gotten mixed in. Alright. I'm going to keep that over here, put that aside. So now my water's super hot, really hot, so we're going to turn that off because I don't need it any hotter than that. And our next step, we're going to use this small bowl that you have. So in our small bowl, we're going to find our teaspoon measures, and you want a 1/4 teaspoon. So that should be the littlest one you have. We're going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of our borax into this small bowl. Yeah, you want it to be flat, right? I don't need a heaping spoon, I just want a flat spoon. Teeny bit of borax in our small bowl. Then, I'm taking my hot water, again, being really careful. At this step, if you want to ask for help, please do. We don't want you guys touching the pot with hands. All we're going to do is put our hot water into our small bowl. Set that down, and I'm going to stir it again. So what you want to make sure is that you do not see any more borax. You want to stir it until it's completely what is called dissolved in the water, right? Which means you don't see any powder. You should just see the water now. All right, I have my mixture. All right, at this point, if you want, and if you have it, you can add an essential oil. So it really just smells nice, right? But the smell of lavender is also a really calming smell, right? It might help you sleep, it might help you calm down. So I'm just going to add just one drop. That's all I need. I don't need a lot. Because sometimes these smells can get a little overpowering. So I have my 1 drop in my bowl. Okay, last thing we're going to do is put our small bowl, which is our water and our borax, into our larger bowl, which is our blue cornstarch and our oil. All right, I'm going to move a little closer so you can see what it looks like. You want to start stirring just with a spoon, whatever you have, and you're going to start seeing that it's going to form a little bit stiffer, right? It's going to change. And you might have a little bit of water left, as you should, but stir it a little bit with the spoon. And then once you've gotten to a point where you think you're good with the spoon, you want to use your hands, right? So that's the fun part. By now the water's not hot anymore, it's pretty cold, it's squishy. You want to move it around, try and hold it up with your hands, kind of like bread dough. You want to knead it until it's not sticky anymore. That might take you a few minutes. It's feeling still pretty sticky to me. Alright. Let's see if I can get it off my hands, is the hard part. And if you do, which I don't seem to today, but the last time I tried that idea, you might have a little bit of water left in the bottom, and that's totally fine. That's very normal. So you don't even need that water. You're just going to get rid of the water. All your extra water can go in the sink. Because you want it to dry out. So as you can see, my putty is white, right? But if I added that food coloring, it could be any other color you wanted. But you don't want to add it now, because then your hands are going to get really colorful. You want to add it in the beginning. So as you can see, super stretchy, really soft. And so this stress putty is why I call it stress putty. Whenever you feel like you're a little bit anxious, or you're stressed, or you're nervous about something, just take your putty and squeeze it in your hands. Right, that feeling, that sensation, it's going to help you relieve your stress and your anxiety. Or if you need to focus on something, it's a really good tool to use to focus our minds, right? So keep it handy, and then when you don't use it, you can store it in an airtight closed container, and it should stay good for a little bit. But if you just let it sit out, it's going to get really hard. So make sure you do that when you're done. All right, and that is stress putty for today's activity. Hope to see you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.